Okay, guys, we are back, and this was really cool to leave to the end. So let me explain to you. As I said, I designed and developed these little House of Chance games, and I love them all. But this one right here, I think people are just going to have a hoot with. This game is so much fun, and again, massive shout out to Damien. The Adventures of Bravely the Knight. What this game is Dungeon Crusade is a dungeon crawl game. So this game is a miniature dungeon crawl game instead of another huge dungeon crawl game. And what you do is you take control of Bravely here, and you are sent into this dungeon. Let's zoom in on this because you really got it. This Damien, I'm sorry, I keep saying your name. This is really amazing. I gave him this went through a lot of revisions. When I gave him my prototype, board of Bravely, the Adventures of Bravely Knight, it changed quite a bit to be what it is now. But see, like you put Bravely here on enter, and he has to go through this whole dungeon in attempt to win gold, avoid traps, like whatever gold that Bravely gets out with, the heroes get. So the way that I came up with this is, to me, it's like, if you can picture this, like a medieval arcade machine. Okay? See, I even had Damien put like a coin, insert gold here. So when you start this game off, you put 2,500 gold by the side of the board. So that's what's in the machine, in air quotes. When a hero inserts 500 gold, that puts Bravely on the inner space. Actually, we'll take a look at a close-up of Bravely here on the inner. So when you put 500 gold into the machine, it gives Bravely 10 health. And what you have to do is, see these green arrows? You can either go north in the dungeon or you can go east in the dungeon. But here's the thing. You must keep the way you're going. There's no backtracking in the Adventures of Bravely tonight. You must go all the way through. However, we're going to talk about this. There's portals. And that is the one time where you have to spin. Yes, we even have an old retro spinner in Adventures of Bravely the Knight. You spin, and then you have to go back that many spaces. But then you, of course, have to keep moving forward. So whatever way you decide to go, you have to stay that and go all the way around. Excuse me. So when you go all the way around and get back to the inner, the inner space, you get to stop. You can choose to go around again. You do not have to pay 500 gold, or Bravely can exit, and the heroes get whatever gold he amassed from the dungeon. This is such a very cool little game. And I'll tell you, one of the best places here, if you can get it, look right here. There's a treasure chamber. And what happens is, if Bravely lands in there, you get to roll a d10. And hopefully you get like a 9 or 10. And, like when you roll the d10, say it comes up 9, well, you times that by 100 gold. That's how much Bravely gets. So there is all kinds of stuff in the Adventures of Bravely the Knight. The Adventures of Bravely Knight, excuse me. Then, of course, as I said, the spinner, where you spin it and you have to, spin to move, keeping to that retro vibe we're going for. So this talks about the different dungeons events. And look at this, like a little monster treasure chest. Before we go, I'll give you a hint of what some of the stuff that you will find here, if you'd like. This talks about battles. You're going to battle these monsters in here. And it's a very simple combat system, guys. There's nothing hard about this. Again, it's to get you back into playing Dungeon Crusade. You may be playing this more, though, just for the novelty of playing it. Because it's a fun game to see how much gold that Bravely can get out. Combat system, take a blue die. That's Bravely's. Monsters are red. They use the red die. You roll them together. Highest roll inflicts 1 damage. If it's a tie, both Bravely and the monsters have a damage. There's hazards in the dungeon. Let me get down here a little more. Spikes. If you land on spikes, Bravely's going to take 1 damage. If you land on a treasure chest space, you get the gold amount shown. You can heal. If Bravely lands on a chamber that has healing, you get that much. You can put that many tokens back on his hero card. We just talked about the treasure chamber, and then somewhere in the dungeon there's a magic sword hidden, and you could add +1 to all your dice battles. And so there's a little hero card that Bravely has, is you just put a red token on that when he acquires the magic sword. And then up here, what I was saying was this is the portal. When Bravely lands on the portal, he has to spin and move back. But then after that, he has to keep moving in that direction. And we talked about the inner space. And so that is a little bit about the adventures of Bravely the Knight. And so this is the sneak peek for our it's probably going to be the last videos, because then the rulebook's done. We are going to be talking about the Tomb of Caladar. And real quickly before I go, the Tomb of Caladar, I wrote a little backstory here about a man named Alistair Caladar, and he lived in the village of Mistvale. Well, he was abducting villagers, and he was a very terrible guy. So he was exiled out of the village of Mistvale, and he traveled west, and he found this abandoned tomb, and that became his new home. Well, then inside this tomb, he started practicing black magic and summoning creatures from beyond, and he was still abducting villagers and hauling them back to this very wretched place. So this is probably definitely a very creative dungeon board. This is a massive death trap dungeon, and I would not recommend playing this right off the bat. There's things I created called environmental hazards that you'll find. There's 6 of those, and of course the trap system. And it's a very creative and thematic experience, and I'm really excited for people to try this out. So that's coming up in the last series, actually, because the rulebook will be done. Okay, guys, I love our time together. I hope that you enjoyed this very extended look at the last sections of the rulebook. I'm going to get back to work here, and really love you guys. And finally, this juggernaut of a game is done, and I'm just so happy. So look for the next video, and hopefully about 5 or 6 days from now, and we're going to wrap up the whole rulebook, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, have a good day, and I will be talking to you soon. Bye-bye.